Katie Hargitt, you are doing something important outside of your work for NBCSN. Starting this week, a new initiative that I believe, came to you in the proverbial dream. Fuel the Female. Great name. It kind of suggests where we're going, but tell us about this dream you had and what you're hoping it will achieve.
So I literally woke up in the dead of winter one day this past off season, and I thought, why do we not have more resources for women in motorsports? We, of course, have a lot of resources for women drivers. But not so much the engineers, mechanics, the business women. So I started talking to my producer, Terry Lingner, and a lot of women I really admired and looked up to and thought, what can we do? Well, here we are now in May, and we are a fully functional 501c3. I initially dreamed that this would just be an annual day at IMS where I could bring girls out and introduce them to the varied careers that are available to them that they don't necessarily see all the time. Well, I met with Teresa Sabatine from the Indy Film Commission, and she lit a fire under me, and we are becoming something much bigger than that. I get goosebumps just talking about it, Marshall, because this is something that I think is going to make a big, or I hope will make a big impact on motorsports.
So we have a fair number of women working in IndyCar, but we know that we would love to see more.
Yes.
We have the Mazda Road to Indy. This isn't just you being selective and saying only open wheel.
No.
This is something you're wanting to bring more women into the sport in a variety of disciplines.
I'm initially focusing on IndyCar, but because that's my wheelhouse. Those are the women that I know right now. So if you're in NHRA, if you're in NASCAR, if you're in USAC, if you're in go-karts, I want to hear from you because I want to be able to tell your stories so that women that aren't in motorsports and girls that are looking up to us right now can say, I want to be her. And what I tell girls is, don't be me, be you, because you are your own voice. So I hope that young girls start to reach out and that we can grow this from not only IndyCar, but every aspect of motorsports from the grassroots to professional racing. And I hope that eventually this grows to girls in every industry where they look at this organization and say, I can achieve anything I can dream.
One thing I know about the women in motor racing in general, whether she is an engineer, communications, you name it, there's a willing party of this mindset that you're sharing with Fuel the Female. Most of the women here want to see more. Not trying to push out all of us old fart men, but it just understanding.
Get out of here.
I know, but at least understanding that, hey, this is a cool venue. This is a cool thing to do. It's just opening doors. What kind of response have you gotten from those women?
So it's funny because this has really just been a word of mouth thing so far. I talked to Kara Adams, and she tells Lisa Boggs, who's the director of motorsports at Firestone, who tells Kate Gunlack at Ganassi. So as soon as those women have heard about it, they've reached out to me.
Nice.
We've already started a Twitter and an Instagram where we have multiplied our followers already in just 1 week, and I've heard from women in Canada and several different states already, and it's just thanks for doing this. And I'm like, don't thank me, like the few of us are going to grow into an army, and it's just been really refreshing to see women supporting women, because I think a lot of times it can get fairly competitive.
So let's talk about two other topics. You have your first event coming up, some of the names you just mentioned, but what is this event meant to be? Is it education? Is it fundraising? Is it awareness? Is it all three?
So our first event is bringing 60 Indianapolis Public Schools high school students out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on opening day of Indy 500 practice. It doesn't get any better than that. They're going to meet the likes of Kara Adams, an engineer at Firestone, Lisa Boggs, the director of motorsports at Firestone, Kate Gunlack, an engineer at Ganassi, Jessica Mace, a mechanic at Andretti, and Kate Guerra, who is in communications for the Verizon IndyCar Series. And I just want this to be an education opportunity and kind of get a feel for what exactly girls are looking for.
Well, there is one important thing. We obviously have great inspiration and aspirations, but Fuel the Female program, being a charity, does also involve hopefully some support financially.
Yes.
Tell us about how folks can get behind this and also reach out to you if they want to be a part of the program.
So we have a website. It's www.fuelthefemale.org. There you can find our email address or submit directly an email on the website. really, we want to be a scholarship fund, so that of course needs donations. We also want to create a mentorship program and networking opportunities year-round for women that want to get into motorsports and women already in motorsports. So if you are one of those young girls that wants to be out here racing every weekend, or whether you just want to support women in motorsports, go ahead and check us out at fuelthefemale.org. And if you do feel so inclined, we would love a donation.
Katie Hargitt, doing big things off the track too.
Thanks for having me, Marshall. I appreciate it.